The next witness.
Well, appreciate it.
Place your right hand on the Bible. State your full name.
Tracy Attila.
Spell your last name.
A-T-T-I-L-L-A.
You just swear testimony about to give the court a minute now trying to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please be seated.
Ms. Attila, could you tell the jury a little bit about yourself?
I'm 15 years old, and my family and I just moved here from Denver, Colorado. I was a member of the National Honor Society in my old school. I was also a straight A student. I enjoy sports such as skiing and snowboarding, rollerblading, and skateboarding in the summer.
Ms. Attila, why were you at Fink's Auto Body on August 7, 1993?
Darryl Claiborne told me there was a great incline at Fink's Garage where all the kids go to skateboard and rollerblade. That's why I was there.
When you arrived at Fink's, what did you see?
Well, there was a fence constructed around the property. There was a padlock on the gate, and there was a tiny hole where the links had separated. That's where Darryl and I climbed through.
How did you feel about climbing through a hole in the padlock fence?
Well, I wasn't too sure about it, but Darryl said it was probably to keep out burglars. I didn't really believe him, but being the new kid in town, I didn't press the issue. I guess I didn't feel too good about it.
Once you entered the property, what happened?
Darryl took the first run. His skateboard hit a rock and it flew out from under him. It broke the window of Fink's Garage and disappeared somewhere in the building. Then we all ran to the fence because we thought it might have triggered an alarm. When I got to the fence, I had to climb through. I threw my skateboard over, and that's where I saw Darryl.
While you were at the property, did you do anything but watch Darryl skate?
No, I didn't.
Did you enter Fink's Garage?
No.
Have you seen Darryl skateboard since it entered the window?
No.
Did you see Darryl fish his skateboard out of the garage?
No.
On that night, did you see Darryl take any runs other than that one in which his skateboard went through the window?
No.
After you left the property, what happened?
Well, I ran home through a shortcut in the woods I had found a few days earlier. I fell in the woods, though. I guess I was in such a hurry, and my skateboard went down a steep bank into the creek. I couldn't retrieve it, so I just went right home.
When you got home, what did you tell your parents?
I didn't want to worry them, so I told them I had a good time. They noticed that I didn't have my skateboard, so I had to tell them what happened to it.
And then what happened?
Well, and then I called Darryl Claiborne. I wanted to see if maybe he had gotten in trouble with his mom. Did he tell anyone that he broke the window? But he wasn't home. His mother said he hadn't arrived yet.
Have you talked to Darryl at any time since the incident?
No, I haven't.
And finally, Miss Attila, could you please tell the court, have you ever seen Darryl's skateboard at all since that instant when it passed through the window?
No.
Thank you very much. No more questions.
Cross-examine.
Tracy, when you got to Mr. Fink's garage the night of the fire, you saw a fence, correct?
Yes.
And you got a pretty good look at this fence, didn't you?
I know Taylor.
Good enough to notice that it wasn't in the greatest shape?
Well, I noticed the padlock, and it was okay. It was a tiny hole.
The fence was covered in rust, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
And in fact, in court, according to you in your affidavit, you say that the fence looked 100 years old, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess, but a fence is a fence.
And nowhere did you see a no skateboarding permitted sign, did you?
I didn't notice one. No.
Tracy, also there was a large hole in this fence, correct?
No, it was small. We had to climb through it.
Well, it was large enough for you to get through it, right?
Climb through it, yeah.
Now, when you got into Mr. Fink's property, that's when Darryl's skateboard flew up into the air and crashed through Mr. Fink's window, correct?
Correct.
Now, at that moment, the window broke, you and your friends took off, right?
Yes.
You say you went straight home, correct?
Right.
Now, when you got home, you told your parents that you had a great time that night, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to worry them.
You didn't tell them about Darryl or the window, did you?
No, I didn't think they'd let me skateboard again if I told them about it.
Tracy, when you got home, did you have your skateboard?
No, like I said, I lost it in the woods and I couldn't retrieve it.
Well, on your way to bed, your parents noticed this, and when they asked you, when you were questioned, you admitted that you lost your skateboard and you told them how you lost it, correct?
Correct.
You didn't tell them where you had been?
No, I told them I was in such a hurry running home. I just ran home to get home before it was dark.
You
Like
didn't
I
tell
said,
them
I didn't
anything
want to
else?
worry them.
You didn't tell anything else that happened that night, right?
Right.
Now, it wasn't until the next day when you found out that the fire occurred that you told anyone what happened that night, right?
Correct.
And it wasn't until the next day when that you decided to contact the police about what happened that night, right, Tracy?
Well, that's when I heard that Fink's Garage had burnt down and that anyone who had been there to please come forward.
So between August 7th, 1993, the night of the fire, and the morning of August 8th, when you decided to tell the police that you went skateboarding, a fire happened, didn't it?
Yes.
Tracy, do you ever think that if you would have told the police a little sooner, a fire might have been prevented?
told the police that a window was broken. I didn't think it was a problem, and I called Daryl to see if he'd done it, for I figured it was his responsibility. I didn't think I had anything to do with it.
Tracy, let's talk about your parents and yourself. You've entered into some sort of financial agreement with Mr. Fink, correct?
Yes.
Now, your parents have paid Mr. Fink a certain amount of money, correct?
Yes.
And for this, you and they have been forever released from any liability concerning the night of the fire, right?
Yes, I think so.
So, Tracy, am I correct in saying that you are not a defendant in this case?
I'm not too sure.
Yet Mr. Fink knows that you had been one of the skateboarders on his property.
I hadn't skateboarded, but I'd been there, yes.
And not only had you been one of the skateboarders on his property, but you can't seem to find your skateboard, can you?
No, but even the fire marshal and I went back to look for it, and it wasn't there.
Tracy, you lost your skateboard the night of the fire, correct?
In the woods on my way home, yes.
Now, you say you went back to look for it and you couldn't find it, could you?
Couldn't find it.
And you say the fire marshal came with you, right?
Yes.
And she couldn't find it.
No.
So, Tracy, since August 7th, the night of the fire, and as of today, we have no way of knowing that that wasn't your skateboard that was found in Mr. Fink's garage, do we?
Well, I know it. I lost it in the woods, and I couldn't find it when I went back.
Your Honor, I have no further questions.
You may step down.
Thank you.
Any further witnesses? Okay. Defendants, wish to present a case?
Yes, Your Honor, we call Daryl Claiborne in the stand.
Place your right hand on the Bible, state your full name,
Daryl Claiborne,
spell your last name.
C-L-A-I-B-O-R-N-E.
You swear testimony about to give the court of now trying to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be seated.
All right, counsel.
Okay, Daryl, how old are you?
I'm 16.
And where do you live?
I live at 356 East Palm Street, Centerville, George County, Pennsylvania.
How far is
This
this?
is my mom, Lynn, and my sister, Amy.
How far is this from Fink's garage?
Just a few blocks.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I work at Centerville Bank and Trust as a teller. I work there part-time during the school year and full-time during the summer.
Is there a reason you have to work so much?
Yes, 4 years ago my father died, and since then my family has been sort of struggling to pay the bills, so I give a portion of my weekly paycheck to help out.
All right, Daryl, let me direct your attention to the evening of August 7th, 1993. That was the night of the fire, wasn't it?
That's right.
Can you tell us what you were doing that night?
That night I asked my mom if I could go skateboarding at Fink's garage.
Why did you want to go to Fink's garage?
Fink's has a great incline that my friends and I use a lot to skateboard. We usually go there once or twice a week, but we always go there after business hours, so we don't disturb anyone.
Were you allowed to go that evening?
Yes, I'd been away for a few weeks, so my mom let me go. She just wanted to make sure I was going with a decent group of kids.
You just said you'd been away for a while. Can you tell us where you were?
My family was visiting my grandmother, who was recuperating from surgery.
Who eventually came with you that night?
I went with a new kid from my church youth fellowship group. Her name is Tracy Attila, and also my two other friends, Pat Scott and Charlie Mayer.
Did you have a curfew?
Yes, even though school was out for the summer, my curfew was set at 11:30. I always make my curfew because I know how much my mom worries about me.
What time did you eventually leave for Fink's garage that evening?
I met up with Tracy at her house at around 7, and from there we walked to Fink's.
When you got to Fink's, did you notice anything different from the last time you had been there?
Yes, there was sort of a fence put up around Fink's property that I hadn't seen before.
And what did this fence look like?
Well, it wasn't constructed very well. It seemed to be made up of all different materials spliced together. In fact, there was even a large hole in one portion of it that was big enough for me and my friends to crawl through.
Did you know why the fence was put up?
No, I did not.
Did you see any signs that would have given you an idea as to why the fence was put up?
I saw no signs.
Did you think the fence had anything to do with you or your friends?
No.
Had anyone ever spoken to you about being not permitted to skateboard on Fink's property?
Well, no one ever spoke to me, and I'm not aware of anyone speaking to my friends.
Okay, Daryl, when you reached the fence, what did you do?
Well, I could see that Pat and Scott were already inside, so Tracy and I decided to crawl through. I figured maybe they knew something that I didn't.
When you got inside, did you begin to skateboard?
Yes.
Can you tell us about your first run?
Well, my first run was pretty bad. I was really nervous because Tracy was there, and I lost my balance and fell. When I fell, my skateboard flew into the air and crashed through a window of Fink's garage.
Well, what happened then?
When the window broke, everyone ran. I thought maybe an alarm had been set off.
Did you set off any alarm?
I guess not. I didn't hear any alarms.
What did everyone else do then?
Everyone else ran.
Did you see where they went?
I didn't see where anyone went, but I met up with Tracy as she was crawling through the hole of Fink's fence. I noticed that she didn't have her skateboard with her.
Did you make any attempt to try to talk with Tracy?
Yes, I called to her, but she bolted from the area.
What did you do at this time?
After that, I hid in the woods for about a half hour.
Why did you wait in the woods?
Well, I wanted to see if the police would show up. I wanted to try to go back to retrieve my skateboard if I could.
Did you ever go get your skateboard?
Yes.
Can you tell us how you did this?
I found a long piece of wire and used it to fish out my skateboard through the broken window.
When you got your skateboard out, was there anything wrong with it?
Yes, it seemed to be damaged, and I tried to repair it using the wire I had found.
Did your repair job work?
No, I tried a couple runs on the skateboard after I tried to fix it, but it wasn't much fun skateboarding by myself with a broken skateboard, so I decided to go home.
Did you do anything with your skateboard on the way home?
Yes, on my way home I was very frustrated, so I threw it into a dumpster.
What happened when you got home?
When I got home, my mom was already in bed, so I watched the news and then I went to bed myself.
What happened the next morning?
The next morning, I called Tracy to talk about what had happened the previous evening.
Did anything happen while you were on the phone with Tracy?
Yes, while I was on the phone with her, my mom called to me and told me that Fink's garage had burned down the night before.
All right, now what happened after you got off the phone with Tracy?
After that, the police called.
What did you tell the police?
I told the police that I had been on Fink's property the previous night, and I admitted to breaking the window. I also told them that I fished my skateboard out through the window and that I later threw it away because it was damaged. I also told them that my skateboard did not cause the fire.
Did you ever try to find your skateboard?
Yes, an officer and I went back to the dumpster where I threw it out, but I guess it had been emptied because it wasn't there.
All right, Darrell, I just have one more question for you. On the night of August 7th, 1993, when you left Fink's garage, was the garage on fire?
No.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Cross-examine.
Mr. Claiborne, you testified that you were away 2 weeks prior to the fire at Fink's garage,
That's right.
but up until then you skated 2 times a week at Fink's.
Yes, usually.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, the first time you claimed to have seen the fence was August 7th. How could that possibly be when you left for your grandmother's July 24th and the fence was built July 2nd, if you skateboarded twice a week?
Well, like I said, we didn't always go twice a week, so I guess I just didn't notice it.
Just a minute ago, did you tell me you skated up until the time you left for your grandmother's?
Yes, I did.
Well, then therefore you skated between the time period of July 2nd and July 24th.
Objection, Your Honor. Counsel is making speeches. I think this is questioning.
I'm trying to prove a point here.
Oh, we realize
Closing
that.
argument. I mean, that's what
But,
closing
I
statement
think
is
the
for.
questions are proper on cross-examination. I'll
Okay.
overrule the objection.
You did skate between the time period of July 2nd and July 24th.
Yes.
So how could you have possibly skated during that time without seeing the fence there?
I suppose I just didn't notice it.
Well, on August 7th, you did notice the fence, didn't you, Mr. Fink?
Yes, I did.
So why did you go through it?
Well, Tracy said to me that it was probably put up for burglars, so I decided maybe she knew something that I didn't. After all, I could see Pat and Scott were already inside, so why shouldn't I go inside the fence? Besides, Mr. Fink had always let us use his property before the skateboard. I figured that why should now be different?
I assume you didn't have any official business at Fink's garage that night, did you?
If you don't consider skateboarding official, I guess not.
Did you think the fence was maybe there to keep you out?
I don't know why the fence was put up.
So you just assumed that it was all right for you to come through?
I guess we did do that, right.
But you had never talked to Mr. Fink about the fence, had you?
I had not.
And you just testified you had never seen it before August 7th. So it's possible the fence was there to keep you out.
I guess it is possible.
How exactly did you get through the fence, Mr. Claiborne?
I crawled through a hole. Tracy and I both did.
Wasn't there a gate?
Yeah, there was a gate on the fence.
Why didn't you go through it?
It was locked.
So you thought it was all right to climb through a hole in a fence that you knew was padlocked?
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree with me, Mr. Claiborne? Fences, padlocks are usually there to keep people out,
Well, they could also be used to keep someone in.
or perhaps someone out.
That's true.
Right after you broke the window with your skateboard, you ran, didn't you?
That's right.
Wasn't this because you were afraid an alarm was going off?
Yes,
And you ran to get off the property, didn't you, Mr. Claiborne?
that's right.
So if you were trying to run off the property, obviously you knew you'd done something wrong.
Yes, I knew that breaking the window was wrong. I didn't want to get caught for it.
Well, if you knew you'd done something wrong, you obviously contacted the proper authorities.
No, unfortunately I didn't.
Please show your skateboard to the jury, Mr. Claiborne.
I don't have it with me.
Why not?
Like I said, I threw it out at the dumpster that night.
How did you ever get it out of the garage?
Well, like I said before, I found a long piece of wire and I used it to fish out my skateboard through the broken window. After trying to repair the skateboard with the wire and noticing that it didn't work, I then finally threw the skateboard away on my way home.
Weren't you worried you might cut yourself on the broken glass?
I guess I wasn't at the time, I don't remember.
And just a few minutes ago, you did testify you were worried an alarm would go off.
Yes, I did.
Well, why did you risk all the time pushing your skateboard out if you were worried an alarm was going to go off?
Well, I wanted to get my skateboard back.
Did anyone other than yourself see you fish the skateboard out?
I don't think so. I know of no one being there while I did that.
Now, what did you say you did with your skateboard after fishing it out?
I threw it into a dumpster.
You expect this jury to believe that after spending all that time and risk fishing your skateboard out, mending it, testing it, you just threw it out?
That's right.
And you did testify that money in your family is tight, you know.
Yes, it is.
So again, you expect this jury to believe that you would just throw out an expensive piece of equipment without saving something of value?
Well, it was broken. What else could I do with it?
So you weren't able to produce it for the police either, were you, Mr. Claiborne?
That's right.
Mr. Claiborne, there is no question that your skateboard crashed through the window at Fink's garage on August 7th, is there?
No, I admit that.
And there is no question that it landed somewhere inside?
I guess it had to if it went through the window.
And there is no question that no one other than yourself has seen it since?
I guess that's right.
Thank you. No further questions.
You may step. Councilman.